boys and girls. This is Mrs. Dar. Today, I'm going to review informational writing with you. We have learned so much this year in kindergarten. I remember a few months ago, we talked about informational writing and we researched penguins and other Arctic animals. We're going to do the same thing, but you get to be the experts and write your very own informational book about your favorite animal. But before we get started with our writing, I would like to review informational writing with you. So go ahead and take a look at this video with me.
Informational Writing, Episode 1. What is it? Informational texts tell facts. Facts are always true. Authors write informational books to teach other people facts about a topic. These books are fiction. They are made-up stories. They are not informational. These books are nonfiction. They are informational because they teach facts about a topic. Informational texts often have special text features like a table of contents, headings, and a glossary. Check out Episode 2 to learn how you can choose a topic for your own informational book.
Now that we have reviewed the important pieces of informational writing, it's time for us to choose a topic. We're all going to choose an animal we would like to learn a little bit more about. So on the Maple Ridge website, you will find our kindergarten packet, and inside that packet, under the writing section, you will find this page that says Animal Links. And we have provided 3 animals with information for websites and information that you can research. So you have cheetah, spotted salamander, and zebra. Now, if you would like to choose a different animal, you're more than welcome to do so, and then you'll have to just find the links and do your own research. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would get started with this. I chose to pick a frog, and I'm going to show you in this as well how you can find the links to a frog that I'm going to be using as my research to get started with my book. So let me go ahead and show you here. So this is your packet. These are all the pages of your book. So you have your front cover, your table of contents, and then all the pages that you're going to write with information about your animal. Now I want you to take a look here. This green star here in the corner, when I click on that, it takes me to the links I have up here where I can do my research before I'm ready to get started writing, okay? So once you chose your topic and you are ready to do your research, then you can go ahead and get started with your book. So the next step would be completing the table of contents. We're gonna wait and save the cover for the very last thing we do to complete our book, okay? So let me go ahead and switch over to my document camera. And here you can see an example of the table of contents. When creating a table of contents, you want to make sure you are helping your reader find things in your writing. It's important to organize your writing into categories to help your reader understand your story. So to make this easier for us, I created the 5 categories we will use when providing information about your chosen animal. If you take a look at your packet under the writing section, you see the following pages. So we have what do they look like? And if you look down here in the bottom, you can see the page number. So you have what do they look like? What do they eat? Where do they live? Life cycle, and fun facts. So those are going to be our 5 categories for our table of contents. Now, I'm going to show you how to complete the table of contents page. So take a look here, okay? I know that on page 1, it shows page 1, and it is what do they look like, okay? Now remember, I'm researching frogs, so I'm going to write what do frogs look like? And I know that that is on page 1, okay? The next page is what do frogs eat? So I want to write what do frogs eat? And since these are kind of like titles and headings, if you want to go ahead and use an uppercase letter for each word, that's fine. You can also make just the first one uppercase and the rest lowercase. Now I know that that is on page 2. Now the next thing would be where do frogs live? So I want to write where do frogs live? And I can find that on page 3. The next one would be the life cycle of a frog. So I would write a frog's life cycle. Okay, and that is on page 4. And then the very last one is fun facts. So I'm going to write fun facts about frogs. And I can find that information on page 5. All right, so now that you're done with your table of contents, you are ready to go ahead and start the very first information page of your book. So what do frogs look like? So I'm going to go ahead and find that page. Okay, now before I would go ahead and get started, I want to make sure I'm an expert and I have researched and I have some good information about what a frog looks like in my case. Now, whatever animal you choose, you would want to be the expert on that animal. So I did go ahead and research that, and I had those links up that you can find those in the online packet. So when I was researching, some of the things that I learned about what frogs look like is frogs can be many different sizes and colors. Sometimes people confuse frogs and toads. So when you see a frog, you see a smooth, moist skin. They have long legs for jumping. And if you just look at a picture of a frog, you can see that they have eyes and a mouth and a tongue. So those are some of the things I'm going to go ahead and write. So I'm going to show you real quick what that might look like. Now, you may choose to write one sentence about what a frog looks like. You may choose to challenge yourself a little bit and write 3 sentences, fill up the whole page. I really would like you to try and at least write one good detailed sentence, but if you've been really working hard on your writing and you're ready to challenge yourself, then I would suggest trying to write a couple different sentences that all go along with what your animal looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write frogs come in many sizes and colors. Now that is the end of my first sentence, so I want to make sure I have punctuation, and I can't forget to always start a sentence with an uppercase. Now I'm ready to write another sentence, so I want to make sure I start my next sentence with an uppercase letter, okay? Frogs have smooth and moist skin. Okay, same thing. I'm finished with that sentence, so I want to put a punctuation mark, which would be a period, and then start my last sentence. Okay, I'm going to run out of room soon, so I'm going to write one more sentence. They have eyes, a mouth, and a tongue. Now remember, when you're writing your sentences, if you come to a word that you're not sure how to spell, you can look it up on the page that you have been doing your research, but you can also sound out those words the best that you can. Okay, now that you have your sentences done, you want to always go back and reread, make sure it makes sense. Frogs come in many sizes and colors. Frogs have smooth and moist skin. They have eyes, a mouth, and a tongue. All right, now that I have my sentences done, I'm ready to go ahead and add detail and draw my pictures. So when drawing your picture, you want to make sure that you're making your animal, your picture that goes along with your sentences, nice and big and zoomed in. Okay, so I'm going to draw a nice big frog here, and I probably want to make sure that I add in all the things I wrote about. So I might want to draw a small frog and a big frog. I might want to make them different colors. I would want to show how their skin is smooth and make sure that I add in eyes, a mouth, and a tongue, since I chose to write about that. All right, boys and girls, good work. Go ahead and get started on your What They Look Like page. Don't forget to add all that extra detail to your picture. In my next video, which will be part 2, I will focus on completing the what do they eat, where do they live, and the life cycle pages of our book. Great work today, little eagles. I'll see you soon.